The Cart Titan is not as flashy and flamboyant as the other 9 Titan shifters. You'd be hard-pressed to find a person who openly admits that their favorite Titan form is the Cart Titan. And that's honestly understandable because it throws fewer hands and is more of an accessory in battle for the longest time. However, the mangaka of Attack on Titan, Isayama, is the type of man who adds everything to his story for a reason. He crafts every character to have great impact on the plot, so it only makes sense for one of his Titan shifters to be indispensable to the story, especially in terms of battle. As a result, it's no surprise that the Cart Titan plays a great role in Attack on Titan, especially in the final battle, as several of its moments create the necessary openings for the battle to reach its definitive end. The reason why the Cart manages to help out to this extent is due to its unusual anatomy and abilities that set it apart in comparison to other Titan shifters. So, this is exactly what we'll explore in this video. Who is the Cart Titan? How did they get its power? The Cart Titan is one of the 9 Titans a Titan shifter of Eldian lineage can acquire. It owes its existence to founder Ymir, who fell into a body of water while on the run from the tyrannical King Fritz's hunters. There, the source of all living matter attached itself to her spine, giving her the power of the Titans. Ymir Fritz became the first Titan shifter ever as the founding Titan, and having lived her entire life as a slave, went back to the king who had enslaved her. The king realized the importance of the Titan powers soon enough and married Ymir. He then made her build the Eldian Empire under his orders. Following her untimely and self-brought death, the king fed her remains and spinal fluids to their 3 daughters to keep the power of the Titans within his lineage and in his grasp. The ritual of consuming Titan shifters to gain Titan powers continued, giving birth to the 9 Titan shifters, with the Cart Titan being one of them. While the Eldian royal family passed down the founding Titan, the other noble families of Eldia held each of the remaining 8 Titan shifters. Having annexed most of the world in their era of tyranny, the houses with Titans began to fight one another, giving rise to the Great Titan War. Decades after that war, the pacifist Eldian King Karl Fritz repented for the sins committed by his kind and segregated the race within the walls of Paradise Island. At the same time, he helped Eldia's greatest victim, the country of Marley, gain freedom, and several of the Eldian Titans, barring the founding Titan, were handed over to Marley. Marley also retained a population of Eldians, or subjects of Ymir, who possessed the necessary biology to be able to shift and turn into Titans, leading to them being used as battle pawns in Marley's future wars. The Cart Titan was one of the Titans held by Marley. The country trained Eldian kids from the internment zone in Liberio to be able to wield Titans and by extension become Marleyan warriors. Peak Finger, the owner of the Cart Titan in Attack on Titan, was one such Eldian. To understand why and how she became the Cart Titan, we need to address how horrible life was for the Eldians in Marley. Marleyans and the world population outside Paradise, who were aware of the world's history, possessed tremendous hatred for those of Eldian blood due to the crimes the Empire had committed with their Titans in the past. Eldians living among them were subjected to a type of racism based on their biology, as they could turn into monstrous beings, which led to them being referred to as the Devils. While Marley was a developed country by the time the story of Attack on Titan began, life was quite underdeveloped for the Eldians living there. They resided in a less affluent area known as the Liberio internment zone, which they were mostly not allowed to leave. However, an Eldian in Marley could acquire a good life for themselves and their families by becoming a warrior or the inheritor of a Titan shifter and attain the status and wealth of being an honorary Marleyan. This is why many Eldians wished to attain this title, while others wished for a family member to become a shifter, irrespective of its risk or the fact that a Titan shifter could only live for 13 more years after becoming a Titan. Peak Finger was an Eldian in Marley who grew up in the internment zone. Her mother passed away while she was quite young, and her father had begun to grow sick. Afraid to lose another parent, Peak realized that she had to become a warrior so she could afford proper medical treatment for her father's survival. She enrolled herself in the warrior program the moment she became eligible to do so, and was eventually picked to become a warrior who would inherit one of the Titans. The procedure of turning into a shifter was simple. The future inheritor got Zeke's spinal fluid, which possesses royal blood, injected into their system. Being a descendant of Ymir allowed them to turn into a pure Titan. The present holder of a particular Titan shifter was kept in front of them, whom the inheritor consumed in their pure Titan form, as that was the natural instinct of any pure Titan. Following this, they acquired the powers of the Titan shifter they had consumed and got the ability to shift in and out of their Titan form. In the case of of Peak, she consumed the one who had been the cart titan before her. Once she became an honorary Marleyan, she secured the treatment her father required. However, he was not happy about her newfound social status, as it came at the cost of her lifetime. While the Eldians in Paradise Island were subjected to a genocide sanctioned by Marley with the support of the world, the Eldians outside Paradise were brainwashed into believing that the island devils from Paradise were the real villains whom they should hate, since it was their sins that had led to the Eldians across the world being distrusted and living in terrible conditions. This is why we see characters like Gabby act desperately to help Marley in their war and hate on those from Paradise. She would even assert that she wanted the world to realize that not all Eldians were evil. Similarly, Peak also desired to protect those who were close to her. She did not care so much about fighting for Marley, but instead wished to secure a bright future for her friends, family, and kind. She wanted her father to believe they had a bright future ahead, and hence diligently carried out her duties as a Marleyan warrior, hoping to free the Eldians in Liberia within the short life she had left. At some point, Marley, who had all the Titan shifters except the Founding Titan and the Attack Titan, decided to launch Paradise Island Operation in year 845 to retake the Founding Titan from the royal family within the walls and wipe out the island's inhabitants. Bertholdt's Colossal Titan, Reiner's Armored Titan, Marcel's Jaw Titan, and Annie's Female Titan were selected for the job, while Peak's Cart Titan and Zeke's Beast Titan were made to stay back in Marley as a deterrent to enemy nations who would attack Marley, now that 4 of their Titan shifters were occupied in a high-risk mission. Why is the Cart Titan as short as it is? Does it have anything to do with its name? While pure Titans can sometimes be short by Titan standards, most of the shifters we see are generally in the 14 to 17 meter range. We have covered the Jaw Titan in a previous video. It is known for being quite small in comparison, as it is approximately 5 meters tall, but even smaller than that would be the Cart Titan. It stands at a height of 4 meters and specializes in support instead of offense or defense. The Titan has a quadrupedal form as it stands on its 4 legs instead of being upright. The Jaw Titan can also act as a quadrupedal Titan. However, the Jaw operates more like an attacking animal. The Cart is less about strength and mostly exists to support the other Titans and soldiers during battles. Its main job is to act as a supplier, as it often has things attached to its back that it can cart from one place to another. This is why it is known as the Cart Titan, since it acts like a biological cart most of the time. Like a cart, it can transport objects, weaponry, and also people. Its 4 meter size and 4-legged form create a flatter surface for manned artillery to be attached to its back. The Cart Titan was responsible for supplying coffee, alcohol, food, and supplies to Zeke, Reiner, and Bertholdt prior to the return to Shiganshina arc. In fact, we see the cart for the very first time during that arc. However, we don't get to see Peak or know what exactly the cart is and where it is from before the time skip. Every Titan shifter has a different role and style of combat that makes them a versatile unit together. If Titans focused purely on combat, it would leave some loose ends in the war zone. For example, in a realistic battle where soldiers do not regenerate like Titans, they have to be equipped with weaponry and given medical attention. For this, the unit would require medics and supplies. The cart's role is similar to that. Is the Cart Titan faster than Levi Ackerman? What makes it the perfect ambusher? Despite lacking in strength in comparison to the other Titan shifters, the Cart Titan excels when it comes to speed. We see a glimpse of it and the advantage it gives the Marleyan army in the return to Shiganshina arc, not long after both Zeke's Beast Titan and Reiner's Armored Titan are defeated. It is important to remember that Zeke here has been humiliatingly defeated by humanity's strongest, Levi Ackerman, who is the epitome of strength and speed. His speed has caught many humans and Titans off guard, including the highly competent female Titan. We also see just how fast Levi can be when he decimates the Beast Titan after the Irwin-led suicide charge. Levi is hell-bent on killing the Beast because it was Irwin's last order to him, which he absolutely did not want to fumble, especially as someone who had never fumbled any of Irwin's orders. He also hates the Beast Titan by this point after witnessing the monkey's joy in killing the soldiers who are comrades to Levi. With respect to his state of mind, you can literally feel just how highly alert Levi was during the moment he had snatched out Zeke from within his Titan and had his sword going through the latter's skull from the mouth. He was only waiting to find out if there was at least one soldier from the charge who was alive so that he could feed the Titan to them. And yet, the Cart Titan appeared out of nowhere and retrieved Zeke from Levi's clutches in mere seconds, displaying a level of speed that caught someone like Levi off guard. While this happened right outside the walls, inside Shiganshina, the Survey Corps had defeated the Armored Titan, with Mikasa's final Thunder Spear attack throwing Reiner out of his Titan form. form. He was too injured to move or even speak properly following this, especially because he had transferred his consciousness to survive the attack. In the presence of some of the core members, such as Mikasa and Jean, Hanji was interrogating Reiner instead of taking the opportunity to kill him off in an attempt to find out more about the reason for his doings. However, he was also snatched away by the cart titan after it rescued Zeke. In both cases, the cart was able to catch its opponents off guard by coming out of nowhere and retrieving its comrades in an instant. The cart's quadrupedal form plays a massive role in its speed and ambushing abilities, since it is the combined support from 4 limbs that gives it its great speed, which is similar to how animals are faster than humans. Like the jaw titan, it can pounce on an opponent out of nowhere. If the opponent is a titan, the cart can simply ambush it, jump onto its nape, and tear it out with its teeth. When it comes to humans, the cart titan has at one point taken out 50 Survey Corps soldiers during a battle against the Jaegerists, who were equipped with the ODM gear, which is notorious for allowing the soldiers to move tremendously fast. Finally, a great factor that allows the cart to retrieve several people at once without needing to slow down necessarily is its huge mouth. While we have seen other titan shifters place Eren in their mouths to take him somewhere else, they do not have heads as big as that of the cart. It feels weird seeing this in the anime, but at the beginning of the War for Paradise arc, Pieck transforms into the cart as Marley attacks the island and takes Gabby in her mouth. So we get to see the inside of the cart's mouth, and it just has a lot of room. This extra space inside the mouth has allowed the cart to fetch both Zeke and Reiner from Paradise after the Return to Shiganshina arc. What makes the Cart Titan's transformation different from the rest? Can it talk? What sets the Cart Titan apart is not so much its role as a support titan or its speed, since other titans can also support and be scarily fast, but its endurance is something else. The more time a shifter spends inside its titan, the more they run towards the risk of being absorbed into the titan. As a result, they can sustain their titan forms for a few hours at best before they start running into problems. It is also not very easy for a shifter to go in and out of its form, which is why Eren doing so with his attack titan around 3 times during his battle against the Warhammer in Liberio garnered a fair deal of surprise and attention. However, such a feat is a cakewalk for the cart. Pieck can sustain herself inside her titan for months without risking absorption. After the time skip, there is a point where Pieck spends almost 2 months in her titan form, which is unnatural and impossible for any other titan. However, Pieck goes on to mention that such a thing is usual for her. It comes with its fair set of advantages, as Pieck can take up long missions of transporting goods across long distances and come back unscathed due to her titan powers and form. This helped her during the war against the Mid-East Allied forces, but more so before the Survey Corps headed to reclaim Shiganshina, as she had to be able to transport the necessary goods from Marley to Paradise for Zeke and Co.'s continued survival in enemy territory. Losing her titan form in mere hours outside the walls would also put her at risk of being consumed by the pure titans who roamed outside. As long as she was in her titan form, however, she could not only fight back, but also have constant access to her titan's speed, which would help her get to safety faster or take out her opponents with greater ease. We do see her showing off her constant transformation spam in battle towards the end of the story, but we'll discuss this in a separate section. Interestingly enough, the Cart Titan can also talk, which is another unusual trait for a Titan, but then she's not the only Titan who can talk. Other shifters who are capable of speech are the Beast Titan, the Warhammer Titan, and to some extent, Ymir's Jaw Titan. Now, we never get a proper explanation as to why some Titans can talk, but what we know is that founder Ymir has full control over the anatomy of the Titans and her subjects. She chooses to create certain Titans with the ability to speak, which possibly comes from the anatomical structuring of the throat and mouth region that allows certain shifters to speak properly. In the video about the Beast Titan, we theorize that maybe Zeke's Titan required its speech ability due to Zeke's role as the war chief, which meant that he would need to give out commands here and there. Pieck's role as a military vessel also came with the fact that she had to relay information from one place to another, which came with a speech requirement. How does prolonged usage of the Cart Titan affect its inheritor? Well, Pieck can spend months as the Cart Titan, constantly being on her 4 legs for too long of a stretch makes her incapable of walking bipedal without losing balance after she turns back into a human. This is somewhat similar to how astronauts, who have been in space for prolonged periods, have to relearn how to walk once they come in contact with Earth's gravity. In one of the scenes during Season 4, Part 1, Porco Galliard is shocked to see Pieck crawling on her 4 legs with disheveled hair early in the morning. This is the famous Good Morning Porco scene where we see how accustomed Pieck has gotten to her quadrupedal form. She uses crutches for a while as she relearns how to walk like a person because her body has forgotten how to function in its original state. Naturally, she needs support until her muscle memory resumes to her human default. The Cart Titan comes with another great weakness, and it's its regenerative speed. While the cart can very much regenerate, its regenerative speed is slower than that of other Titan shifters. This could possibly be a liability as a result of its high endurance. The weakness is not specific to Pieck alone, but to every inheritor of the cart titan. The cart also does not have enough strength, at least in comparison to the other titan shifters, which is a result of its short arms and legs. We know that a titan is only as useful or dangerous as its owner. For example, what makes the female titan so lethal is not the titan itself, but the fact that we see a person like Annie wield it. Meanwhile, the Warhammer, in the hands of a more seasoned combatant, would be far more potent. Despite its diverse range of abilities, it gets taken out pretty fast because Lara Tiber does not seem to have the appropriate battle experience to wield it. The cart titan is formidable and extremely useful in the story because Peak has trained for years to wield it properly. She also has enough experience with it since Marley almost always seems to be part of some war or another. If an Eldian from Paradise acquired the titan, the wielder's lack of training with the titan would make the cart a lot less powerful, at least until Hanji figured out a way to optimize its abilities. How does Marley exploit the cart titan's power to enhance it? Right before return to Shiganshina, we see the cart having wooden boxes strapped to itself as Peak is supplying commodities to the Marleyan warriors in Paradise. Later, this is used to hide Berthold in a barrel, which is launched into Shiganshina by Zeke for Berthold to transform and be able to take out several opponents at once with his explosion. In Season 4, we see the cart equipped with a steely mask that not only protects its face, but also comes with fully functioning battle armor. 4 machine gun turrets are strapped onto its back, with each section having enough room to host a Marleyan soldier who mans the guns. This unit is known as the Panzer unit, and the cart often acts as its vehicle for the unit to storm into enemy territory or bunkers and take out opponents with their firepower. Later, in the Attack on Liberio arc, the Panzer unit equips Peak's Titan with machine gun armament, which she believes will be the perfect counter to the vertical maneuvering equipment. Together, they ambush and take out the Survey Corps by surprise, hitting them with a barrage of bullets while positioning themselves on the roof of a building. It manages to take out several opponent soldiers and save Porco. After some time, however, Sasha takes out one of the soldiers within the armor with her sharp sniping skills, while the other Survey Corps members attack the cart and its artillery with thunder spears. Ultimately, Peak's Titan plummets to the ground, but she leaves her Titan form unconscious and is rescued by Gabby and Falco. During the War for Paradise arc, Peak rescues Gabby in her Titan's mouth and rushes to Magath to fill him in on the situation after having learned that Eren and Zeke coming into physical contact will activate the Founder's powers. She then equips her Titan with anti-Titan artillery to go into battle, and Magath climbs into it. Together, they reach the spot where Eren is fighting Reiner and Porco, and Magath fires a round into Eren's head. This compromises the Attack Titan's mobility, and they continue firing anti-Titan artillery at him for as long as they can to prevent Eren from coming into contact with Zeke's Beast Titan. At some point, the cart also fires a round at Zeke and seemingly finishes him off, although we know now that Zeke managed to hang on. From these instances, we get to see how the cart is an excellent support Titan and very useful within its verse, mainly due to the progress of technology. While Marley was able to dominate for the longest time against other countries due to their possession of Titans, the battle against the Mideast allied forces proved that the age of the Titans was coming to an end. Marley had won the war, but there was enough proof for the fact that modern technology was giving Titans a run for their money, and with time, it would be able to overpower Titans. Peak's Cart Titan, however, uses a combination of Titan powers as well as modern technology. As a result, its combat use is far from going out of relevance in the New World Order. The cart can keep equipping itself with modern offensive technology, and at the same time, give those manning said technology the advantage of locomotion, allowing them to operate from convenient spots that can take out several opponents at once. This lets the artillery and the units have a base that can move fast, dodge, regenerate, endure, and if necessary, attack. All in all, the Cart Titan's anatomy never changes, and it doesn't gain powers such as selective hardening. But this is because it never needed to, as Marley optimized it by utilizing the space on its back, transforming it from a supply buggy to a death machine. Why was the Cart Titan pivotal to defeating Eren in the Battle of Heaven and Earth? During the Battle of Heaven and Earth, Peak pulls off a number of feats. It snatches away Jean from the clutches of the Jaegerists, also rescuing Yelena and Onyankopan in the process. They are taken back to Magath, Levi, and Hanji, now that the two sides have formed a temporary truce to end the rumbling. It takes up many other scouting and transportation jobs. She also catches the explosives launched at the Alliance to protect them, while the others engage the Beast Titan, who was the one who had launched said explosives. As the Alliance fights atop the massive founding Titan, Eren sends the former inheritors of the 9 Titans Titan shifters to engage them in combat, as he has full control over Titans at this point. The only reason why the Alliance can even fight back is because Eren lets them have their freedom, since Eren's primary goal is for everyone to be free, and by now, we know that Eren wanted to be defeated. Anyways, Pieck gets engaged in combat by Lara Tyburn's Warhammer Titan. Although she's not as strong as the other Titan shifters, she claims that her Titan is not something that excels at odd jobs only. She then goes on to use her endurance to its fullest as she gets injured by the Titans, comes out of her nape, and then transforms mid-air at key timings to launch herself at the nape of the opposing Titans to take them out. She does this several times over and over again, as her Titan can transform as many times as Pieck wants it to, hundreds of times if needed. And this is why her Titan transformation is perhaps the most unique of the bunch. She does this to clear a path for Jean, who intends to launch explosives at Eren's nape. Despite the cart's tremendous endurance, Pieck has probably never had to transform as many times prior to this very battle. She is also constantly getting injured, and her Titan is not the greatest when it comes to regeneration. She gets to a point where she is unable to heal her injuries and reaches her limit. However, after she recuperates a little bit, after having been saved by Jean and then by Marcel and Porco's Jaw Titans, she transforms into the cart once again and helps the Alliance hold off the remaining Titans while Jean heads off to destroy Eren's nape. It is later revealed that both Eren and the source of all living matter had survived the explosives and Armin's transformation. However, the ordeal had been able to separate Eren from the source, which created the opening for Eren to be vulnerable. While Mikasa and Levi headed off to kill Eren, Pieck stayed back with Reiner and the others to prevent the source from reuniting with Eren and helped fend off pure Titans. There are also moments prior to the battle atop the Founding Titan where Pieck plays dead to fool her opponents, which happens while she and Magath try to prevent the union of Eren and Zeke. It works on the Aegirists as they believe the lie, while the cart and Magath seal the moment to fire rounds on Zeke. Across several instances, she even uses Titan steam for ambushing and to avoid capture. During the war on Liberio, Jean was about to take her out with a thunder spear, but the steam generated by her led to the spear missing and subsequently saving Pieck's life, bringing us back to associating the formidability of a Titan not by its form, but by its wielder. Had Pieck not been capable of several non-combat related jobs, the Alliance may not have been able to even be part of the final battle, since they were not only struggling to catch up to Eren, but also in uniting all the members of the Alliance in a single spot. Marvelous verdict! In conclusion, we can say that the Cart Titan is extremely versatile, not necessarily in an offensive way like the female Titan, but in a more all-around manner. It is the most useful support in battle, which is only amplified by its ability to engage in offensive combat while having an intelligent and experienced wielder. The Cart's abilities are often overlooked, but we hope this video can alter that perception. And with that, today's video comes to an end. What do you think of the Cart Titan? Did you enjoy this video? If so, then don't forget to like and comment down below. Until next time, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.